Welcome to JGTCR, I'm Cope, and today we will be discussing the Toyko grind method. Let's get into it. There have been a number of credit grinding techniques come and go on GT7 since its release, but only a few have remained solid and consistent earners. And let's be real here, once GT7 is 100% complete and platinumed, there is a huge gap between the credits you have and what you need to buy every car in the game and completely modify each of them. And that's not even taking into account if you want multiples of any vehicle. So what are we to do but to grind our little hearts out to make sure we get every single thing on GT7? The following is a method that I personally use on Toyko Expressway. This grants us the ability to earn 2.475 million credits every 1 hour and 8 minutes. This is the fastest method that I am aware of. However, if you know of a faster way, please feel free to share your method in the comments. As can be seen in the video, this method involves wall riding, as it is a fast credit grind. So now let's jump across to the tune sheet to take a look at the vehicle and settings we will be using. As we can see in the top left corner, the vehicle is the R32 GTR Vspec II. It does have the engine swap, so make sure you get that and all the performance parts available. The most important setting is the gearbox, which is set to 410 km per hour. The individual gears have been tweaked, so pause the video, take screenshots, or do whatever you need to dial this tune in. This tune has a very lazy bottom end, meaning it is very laggy, particularly in first and second gear. This is to help with wheel spin and to conserve fuel. There does seem to be some confusion about how to keep the clean race bonus. The rules here are very simple. 1. Do not hit other cars. 2. Do not exceed track limits. But let's dive a little deeper into each of these rules. Do not hit other cars. If you even touch another car, you will lose the clean race bonus. So when in traffic, use caution and slow down. Expect the AI opponents to block even if you are screaming past them on the main straight at 100 km an hour faster than they are going. Learn to fake them out, draw them to one side of the track, and at the last minute switch to the other to pass. Know your vehicle's strengths and weaknesses. This lets us know when it's safe to overtake an opponent or when it's best to let them go. Just remember, it's best not to risk the clean race bonus for just a few seconds in a lap time. There is some nuance here, as apparently when lapping vehicles, small touches do not lose the clean race bonus. But to this I say, why take the risk? Now on to rule 2 of not exceeding track limits. This means do not cross the white lines on the final hairpin or into pit lane when pitting. This R32 GTR is a no-stop build, so we don't have to worry about pit lane entry, but the final hairpin is where we make or break this race. As we can see in the video, we are very middle of the lane when it comes to the hairpin, but let's take a closer look at these lines in question. The red and white rumble strip on the inside of the turn is where our track limits begin. If we're close enough to hit the checkered barrels on the inside, we are over far enough to lose the clean race bonus. If all 4 wheels of the vehicle we are driving cross the white line that we are following, we will lose the clean race bonus, as these white lines are our track limits. The nuance in this situation is if we keep one tyre on the circuit, we will keep the clean race bonus. But again, why risk it? This thin white line continues to be a threat to our clean race bonus until it merges with the main straight. So now we will double back and follow the clean race bonus stealing white line all the way back to our R32 GTR. As we should know by now, GT7's collision model is quite poor and often puts us up on 2 wheels when we collide with barrels, barriers or walls. So do not, under any circumstances, underestimate GT7's ability to take away our clean race bonus, even in the narrowest of spaces beyond the track limits. Hitting the traffic cones will also lose us the clean race bonus, even if we keep one tyre on the track. This usually occurs if we drift the tail end over the track limits. However, if none of our tyres touch a white line, they can't take away our clean race bonus. Now let's take a look at the pit lane entry and exit limits. Even if we don't use it here, it's useful to know. As we make our way out of the hairpin and onto the main straight, we make our way to the left lane where we will notice some yellow and white barriers. This is where the pit lane begins. The solid white line on the right is our track limit. We must stay between these lines all the way into the pit. The same is also true on pit exit. We must stay within the white lines of our lane until the solid white line on our right becomes broken. Right about now, the Funk So brother. We are now armed with everything we need to win the race and keep our clean race bonus. Let's head to the start of the race and see just how fast we are. The vehicle directly in front of us usually moves to the right, which allows us to pass on the left. Sometimes it doesn't, so again, why take the risk? From this point forward, it is clear sailing. Stick to the left lane and keep the foot flat to the floor, and as per usual, we're golden. Once we pass all our opponents in one fell swoop, we will not be seeing them again until lap 5 or 6, and then 11 or 12. Now on to lap 2 for the lap guide. Coming out of the hairpin and onto the main straight, we prepare to hit our shift points. We shift into 4th where the coloured barriers end on the left. This prevents wheel spin and saves us fuel as we begin our descent into the tunnel. We shift into 5th, near or on the finish line itself. And now we begin the long run up to 400 km an hour up the main straight. To ensure we maximise our speed when we ride the wall, it's imperative that we touch down softly. This means leaning on the wall gently, not smashing into it. At turn 1 we will touch down at the 50 board, dropping down to 3rd to maintain speed. It's best to stay off the walls between turns 2 and 3, unlike what we're doing here. We stay in 3rd while riding turn 2. Our next touchdown point is just beyond the overpass, where a puddle that is consistent throughout the race marks the spot. The street lamp on the right wall also works. We ride the wall here in 4th to conserve fuel. As this lamp leaves our screen, it is our marker to back off the throttle and drop down a gear into 3rd. It is important for us to get off the wall before we reach the overpass, as it can throw us violently and often leaves us facing the wrong way. And it goes a little something like this. So be sure to use caution through this section to stay out of trouble. We will stay off throttle until we've rounded most of the turn past the overpass. As we round the corner, we will see a black digital flag marker mounted to the wall. After lapping opponents, this will be flashing blue. Regardless of its colour, after this has left the screen, it is our signal to start feeding in the throttle once again. Making our way to the right side of the road and preparing to touch down at the S-bend, we are looking for the 4th lit beacon to stomp on the brakes. These lights do oscillate, so whichever is lit is good enough. As we pass under the bridge, we will release the brake and coast through the turn. Again, we are looking for our friend the wall-mounted digital flag as our acceleration marker. Slowly feeding in the accelerator, we will stay off the walls for a moment and prepare to touch down once again on the other side of the overpass. Just beyond the first lamp is where we want to make contact with the wall. We stay in 3rd throughout the corner and then prepare for the next turn, where we are once again looking to touch down just on the other side of the first lamp. Easing off the throttle a touch to get off the wall, we move to the left and prepare for our next touchdown, which is just after the 50 sign at the break on the highway wall. Road signs also help us mark the spot. As we exit the turn in 3rd gear, we ease off the throttle for traction purposes and move to the right hand side of the road for our next touchdown point, which is at the 2nd lamp on this turn. Staying in 3rd, through the turn, we jump off the wall where it's almost a straight shot to the dreaded hairpin. Here we will show 2 brake markers. The first is this overhead road sign. This will be used on at least the first 2 laps as the road is very slippery when wet, and we will need the extra braking distance. As this brake marker leaves the top of the screen, apply the brakes, and we should pull up at the right point to take the turn. Our second brake point is this road marking. As the circuit dries out, this becomes the better brake point. Should we push the brake marker too far, riding the wall to slow down is a viable option. After turning into the hairpin, we will drop into 1st gear and prepare to exit. The tune on our GTR is lazy, but it does still wheel spin, so throttle modulation may be necessary through the kink onto the main straight. and we are home free at this point. We only need to concern ourselves with gear shifts up the main straight. So now it's just a matter of rinse and repeat until we reach the checkered flag, making sure we remember the clean race bonus rules. And we managed to cross the line with a 152.5. As we grow more accustomed to running this race, our lap times do come down. However, we must keep in mind the faster we run, the more fuel we use. Running consistent lap times of 152s to 154s seems to be the sweet spot, where we have enough fuel to make sure we do a no-stop race, and our pace is fast enough to meet our time targets. While we are lapping back markers, our times may suffer up to 5 to 8 seconds. But as mentioned earlier, it is best to take our time when overtaking. We should be in no rush to lose our clean race bonus. So let's jump forward and take a look at our total time for the race. 22 minutes, 20 seconds. So now let's do the math. 22 minutes, 20 seconds multiplied by 3 equals 1 hour and 7 minutes. Add a minute or two for load times and fudge factor, and we can safely say somewhere between 1 hour and 8 minutes and 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete 3 races. A Tokyo Expressway win with the clean race bonus is 825,000 credits. Again, multiplied by 3 equals 2.475 million credits. More than enough to fill our bank accounts per hour and make sure we can afford all the upgrades and vehicles that we want. And there you have it, the fastest way I know how to make credits on GT7. Use it in good health. And until next time, keep racing.